have two gentlemen, Fletcher and Pecker, representing their cases today in the Supreme Court. The results may be shocking. Today, on a shocking episode of 2020, we bring to you a case that has marked history in the Supreme Court. Fletcher versus Peck, who will win, who will lose, and the joining of the law versus the Constitution. John Marshall, Chief Justice in the Supreme Court, making history with his recent court decisions, such as the one we're talking about today. It all started in 1800 when John Peck acquired 13,000 acres. Fast forward 3 years later, John Fletcher and John Peck are making a deal of a lifetime.
Much land, my amigo.
Thank you.
It was on this day that these two fellows had made a purchase of 13,000 acres for $3,000.
I'm a representative of Georgia, and I'm here to say that we have revoked the grant for the land that is being sold.
Hello, my name is John Peck, and I'm talking to you guys to inform you about the court case that I am going to be in due to a guy named Robert Fletcher. This guy signed a contract saying that he would pay me $3,000 for 13,000 acres of land. Nowhere did he say he would take me to court. I strictly said everything about the land. I gave him all the information, and I did not tell him about the repealing of the land that was done by Georgia because I didn't think it was important. The repealing is said to be done only by the U.S. government. In this case, it was done by Georgia, so it was not acceptable due to the U.S. Constitution. He cannot do this, so I didn't tell him. I didn't find it as information that he should know that it was rejected. But he denies what I'm saying, and he says that I'm trying to steal his money by sending him land that is not supposed to be sold. And that's where he's wrong.
My name is Robert Fletcher, and I'm taking John Peck to court because he tried to sell me land that he didn't own. The grant for the land had already expired and was revoked by the state of Georgia.
In March 1810, Fletcher appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court to sue Peck. The question before the court was whether the Act of 1796, which repealed the Act of 1795, was a violation of Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. In other words, whether once the state of Georgia had finalized the original sale of the land, it could constitutionally repeal that sale, or whether the Constitution prohibited from doing so. The Supreme Court, in a 4-1 decision written by Chief Justice John Marshall, ruled that Georgia had violated the contract clause of the Constitution when it repealed the grant. The court conceded that the fraud underlying the grants was deplorable, but it rejected Fletcher's argument that Georgia had the sovereign power as the agent of the people to repeal the act of public corruption. The court reasoned that Peck was an innocent third-party bystander who had entered into the two valid contracts. First, when he paid for the land from the original grantee, and second, when he sold the land to Fletcher. Peck thus fell outside the original fraud the Georgia legislature sought to undo in its repeal. As Marshall put it, when a law is in its nature a contract, when absolute rights have vested under that contract, repeal of the law cannot divest those rights. Fletcher's suit against Peck was dismissed, and Georgia's law repealing the grant was struck down.